folks, and welcome back to Four Corners of the Galley. I'm your host PBO, and you're joining me on movie reviews. And on this movie review, I'm reviewing Ready Player One. So let's kick this sucker right off. Alright, so Ready Player One by Mr. Steven Spielberg, the legend, the man, Mr. Spielberg. So this movie is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Right now, there's a lot of division in the world between this movie, but I thought this movie was absolutely fantastic. It is a great, fun, adventurous ride into nostalgia. Also taking us into a world that we've never seen before and showing us something that hopefully in the future does exist in the Oasis. So let's I'm gonna go over the story and the basic plots that happen in this movie, no spoilers, and then I'll give you what I think about it, good and bad, and then I'll give you the spoilers after the fact. So this movie takes place in the year 2045, and it's in the future. We're in Columbus, Ohio, and we meet this gentleman, Wade Watts. Wade Watts is actually named after the alter egos of famous superheroes. His father felt like he needed a name that matched kind of like superheroes. So like Wade Wilson or Bruce Banner or Peter Parker, he was named Wade Watts. So we meet this individual, Wade Watts, who is played by Ty Sheridan. I'm about to call him James Varden. Got the Cyclops mixed up by Ty Sheridan, who is actually Cyclops in X-Men: The Apocalypse and will be Cyclops in X-Men: Dark Phoenix. Is really great. We meet him, and he's living in this thing called the Stacks, and it's like these kind of like they've decided to take like trailer parks and kind of go vertical instead of going horizontal. So now everything goes up, and basically we live in this world where this giant game was created, and this game is called the Oasis. And it's basically the first open world game where everyone can play inside of this giant game. So instead of having like Xbox and only being able to play with people on Xbox and having a PlayStation and only being able to play with people on PlayStation, or having a PC and only playing with people on a PC, this is an all-encompassing virtual reality. Everybody plays in this giant world that basically we make up. I mean, this is a gamer's dream. I mean, this is like your imagination can make this game happen. And it is the way that Spielberg pulls off and brings us in and shows us the different makings of this world is absolutely fantastic. So we're in the year 2045. In the year 2040, the creator of this game, Holiday, passes away. When he passes away, he comes out with this video of kind of like a video where he's showing that he's died, and he's got a tribute to Star Trek, he's got the Enterprise and stuff around him, and he basically created a giant Easter egg in this game, the Oasis, and it's got a set of 3 challenges, and you have to click 3 keys, and the winner of this challenge ends up controlling the entire Oasis and gains all of his stock, which is valued, I think, like at $500 billion when he passes away. So all this happens in 2040. By the time we jump into this story, it's 2045. So it's 5 years later, and no one has found any keys or any things. There has been one found thing, what they're called Gunthers, and these are Easter egg hunters. One guy found the clues that figured out the first race, which is the actual race, and that's all that's going on, and that's what we jump right into when we enter into Ready Player One. So that's kind of the basis of the story. It's a group of individuals. You have this one gentleman, Percival, who is actually he's the main character, and he's Wade Watts' avatar inside of the Oasis, and we're following him on his adventure with his buddies in the Oasis, trying to get these keys and complete these challenges and win the game and take over the Oasis. So that is basically the basis of this game and a basis of this movie and what is going on. At the same time, you have this corporation called the IOIs, and they are run by actor Ben Mendelsohn, who is actually playing Sorrento, and he is like a corporate overlord, and he is, at this point, they are trying to win this game too, because they want control of the Oasis, because at this point in the world, the Oasis is the most valuable resource there is. People spend days upon days inside of the Oasis. All they ever get off for is to use the bathroom and pee, and that's kind of what they address, and they show that in the movie, and it's beautifully done. So you have this gentleman, Sorrento, who sends in these army of what they call the Sixers, because they only have a set of numbers, into this game daily, and they are daily trying to compete in this competition when we first meet them. And it's this great David versus Goliath, corporation versus rebellion. I mean, it's got everything you want from a classic 80s trope movie. I mean, it's built exactly like that. So we go on this great adventure where we meet Percival Wade Watts, and we go on this great adventure. And that's the basis of this movie. It's absolutely fascinating. We've split time between the real world, the oasis, and the seamlessness, and the showing the different aspects and everything. It's just beautifully done. Spielberg is a master filmmaker. He takes us on this adventure. The adventure is an Indiana Jones adventure, and it's great. I mean, this is the man that created adventure films. So I mean, I don't understand why you think he wouldn't be able to nail something in the future. I mean, he does do a beautiful job. It feels like the first time you see Avatar when you walk into the Oasis. It's so beautiful and gorgeous. The colors and the things they pick, the way it's littered with just pop culture references left and right. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Spielberg does a beautiful job on this. Percival obviously has a group of people. In the game, they have clans, and I don't know if you're a gamer or not, but if you are a gamer, you will know that clans is people you kind of link up with and your crew that you go into games with and take on other people. Well, at this time, he doesn't really have a clan. He has a group of people, and he's got, he at this point, he hangs out with a character that's kind of built like Duke Nukem, and he's a big old like fighting person with an extendable chest, and his name is H, who actually turns out to be a lady on the outside. And then he goes and he rolls with Dido, and who's like a samurai, and then another gentleman by the name of Sho, who you find out later is actually a little 11-year-old kid. It's this great group of individuals, and that's like the main group. He then meets, the first time he races, this lady named Artemis. And she is also another gunter looking on the front for the Easter egg and the challenges. And he meets her and falls in love with her. So you get basically a love story mixed into this adventure story. So it's just beautifully done work. I really like that aspect. It's got a lot of cheesiness and campiness throughout the movie, but overall, every other line and every other reference and every other character walking through is some sort of pop cultural video game or some sort of references from the late 70s to the early 90s. I mean, the one-liners they drop left and right, the characters, what they're wearing, the symbols, every single thing is a pop culture reference. Now, some people might say it's over too much, but I think it's beautifully done, because for you to use all those different references and plan them out so perfectly and litter them through, it's just a beautiful job the way it works. I love the way it comes out. It looks great. I think it looks beautiful. My gripe for the movie, I really don't have that many gripes. I thought the movie was really solid. My biggest thing is on the third challenge, there's some things that happen that I didn't like that happened beforehand, and it's part of it references another movie, but I didn't like that part. That would be my biggest main gripe. Other than that, it's got a little campiness, of course. It's got some cheesy jokes and some silliness, but I mean, it also is playing off the 80s and the silly jokes and campiness of 80s movies. So you have to, it comes with the good and the bad. But overall, I felt like it was a great movie, and it's very diverse and a great cast of characters with a great villain, and Ben Mendelsohn, who plays who's Krennic also in Rogue One. I mean, it's just beautifully done. So overall, I give this a 4 out of 5. It's an A, you know, whatever way you want to call it. I think this movie is amazing. This is classic Spielberg. This brings me back to Spielberg of Jurassic Park, of Catch Me If You Can, of War of the Worlds, where the imagination and everything he does and the way he brings you into a world and you feel like you're right there next to the characters, it's just magnified. It's just great. He just does an amazing job of capturing that imagination once again. So yeah, there you go. That's my overall rankings. I think this movie's amazing. If you don't want to know any little spoilers, you guys can stop now. Go check this movie out. Go support it. This movie needs support, and it's a great movie, and I think you really enjoy it in the theaters. All right. Everybody gone? Cool. Here you go. Little spoilers. So we won't go that heavy into spoilers. We'll just kind of talk about some of the fun pop culture references basically I saw. The story is really cool. I love all the different challenges. The first challenge is built after the movie Bullet, where it's a race challenge in the streets of San Francisco. I think it's freaking awesome when you first get to it. I mean, they got the DeLorean, you got Akira's bike, there's Batman 66's car, there's cars everywhere, Mad Max's car. I mean, it takes you forever just to find all the different cool references. They're racing through, you instantly get Jurassic Park and the T-Rex chasing you, get King Kong at the end. I mean, just manufactured, just beautifully placed stuff. Percival, the main character, is based off of the gentleman who is in search of the Holy Grail and pulls the King Arthur's sword from the stone. And basically, the chase for the Holy Grail is Indiana Jones and the Raiders in the Lost Ark. So that's the original Indiana Jones, which Spielberg directed all 4 Indiana Jones movies. So that's a little homage to his Indiana Jones. He's got the whole freaking gold sword on his back that you can see, which is supposed to be Excalibur. He's rocking a Thundercats belt with a Han Solo holster. I mean, he's rocking Buckaroo Banzai from Prince to Duran Duran in different scenes to Thriller. I mean, they just one time after another. I heard that the dress that Artemis is wearing is like a tribute to Jessica Rabbit. I mean, just one thing after another. They get into the dance competition, and it's Saturday Night Fever and its greatness. All the characters littered all around the place. Just so many different pop culture references. Just so beautifully done. The challenge to The Shining might be one of the greatest scenes in a movie. That thing is awesome, the way they set that up and the way it plays out. When the IOIs come back in and they have to do the challenge, I couldn't stop laughing. That scene is gorgeous. The huge battle at the end. I mean, that's how you do a big battle in a movie. It looked cool. It cut away. It didn't just focus on it, but it was just pure pandemonium. I mean, that's what a big battle is supposed to look like. I love the Chucky doll that came out. I love the interlace of the reality of people in the streets with their virtual reality masks running and kicking and doing all this stuff, and then it's showing it in the actual Oasis. I mean, this is Spielberg just murdering his roles. Along the way, you also had T.J. Miller, who's playing like the Skeletor-style overlord who's got all the nerd stuff and knows everything. I mean, he was just great throwing the one-liners out. This movie is a great love letter to the gamers of now and the pop culture fans of before. And I think Spielberg did an amazing job and put a great stuff and really added some fun elements. He did change some things from the books. The Iron Giant's not in there. I love that the Iron Giant is in there. Ultraman really wouldn't have worked. A lot of people don't know who Ultraman is. And then he added the key element, but the keys aren't even in the book. I mean, he added some great stuff that really made the story work and really made it come to life off the screen. And that's all you can ask for, because it's hard to adapt books and be so faithful to the story in a short period of time when you're only doing it in a movie. You got Game of Thrones, who's doing it over a series, and you have your time to take to make everything last. But when you're taking a book that has so much in it and you're trying to just put it together in a 2-hour, 220 movie, you're going to lose some things, but you're also going to add some things that really enhance it. And I feel like the choices that Spielberg made are really good. So there you go, folks. There's our Ready Player One review. I love it. I hope you do too. Until next time, folks. Good night, Ted.